So today I'll be discussing the ISTJ subtype personalities and how you can be able to spot them and provide you evidence of existing people on the internet which can help you learn how to spot them eventually. So just as a disclaimer, I am using the socionics term. So if you're using Myers-briggs, you replace the J with the P. So I'll be talking about the ISTP personality type for Myers-briggs, but I'll be referring to it in the socionics term as ISTJ. It's essentially the same thing, if you didn't know. So we'll start with the introverted thinking subtype and provide you with character descriptions, what's important, and then provide you examples. So the logical subtype is self-assured, calm, restrained, correct, and impenetrable. At times he seems arrogant, sufficiently kind, impenetrable, and unemotional. Very polite and attentive to details in conversation, likes to specify and clarify everything, but sometimes becomes too focused on details that are non-essential to others. Unhurried, perhaps even slow, likes receiving exhaustively comprehensive and thorough information to his inquiries, dislikes ambiguity. Internally he is quite collected, never loses his spirit and sense of perseverance, tries to encourage those who are in need of support, has a direct, motionless gaze that seems to look through the interlocutor conversation partner. His movements are measured by constraint. There is a tendency to shuffle his feet against the floor when walking. When he turns, he does so with his entire body, such that it sometimes seems like his neck is fixed to his shoulders. Doesn't like to turn his head. That stands out from this personality type from other personality types is that they're self-assured, calm, restrained, correct, and impenetrable. So oftentimes I've noticed people of this personality are very dry in a way. So there's a dryish tone from when they present themselves to the world. And therefore they show a sense of unemotional aspects. And this is evident because extroverted feeling is their weakest characteristics. They are quite collected, which means there tends to be a sense of strength, and they have a very direct and motionless gaze. They tend to shuffle his feet against the floor when walking. So when looking for the subtype, I would actually notice key structures as they tend to be very dry and impenetrable, but they're still calm, self-assured, and correct. Another thing to notice is that they are sensor subtypes, so they tend to be more direct, hands-on experience, so they tend to be very practical in that sense. Now moving to the next subtype is extrovert sensing. Now these subtypes tend to appear very restless in behavior and internally emotional. The neological subtype may appear somewhat restrained, yet also obstinate and stubborn in his views and is willing to enter conflicts when his opinions are not honored. Self-controlled and impersonal in his demeanor, dislikes objections and lengthy explanations, often watches the actions of others in order to try to assist them or to point out their mistakes. Sometimes in indignation, he makes reprimanding remarks. Other times he simply completes the task himself or tries to help other persons do it better. Following up, he can become unduly sharp and absolutist in his statements. Occasionally he tries to amend the situation and smiles with kindness and charm. He walks at a rapid pace, placing his feet as he is stamping the ground, makes an impression of a well-coordinated and active person, dresses conservatively, but aims for an aesthetics pleasantly, leaving stylish appearance. In conversation, he attempts to get closer to his partner but doesn't make direct contact, not inclined to overly sensitive, affectionate, and permissive treatment. So when looking for this subtype, I would describe them as a very strong kind of personality. So they tend to be reserved, but they also have a very strength motivation when they're speaking or presenting themselves to the world. And from this, you can find some core aspects about their personality when noticing them is that they're very restless in behavior and they seem somewhat internally emotional. They are restrained. They're also stubborn. They're very self-controlled, which comes through the strength from them. They're very well coordinated and they're very active people and they dress conservatively. But fundamentally, you guys remember that they are thinking subtypes, they are sensors, they are introverts, and fundamentally, they do present an image of strength. So now I will present to you the case examples of introvert thinkers and extrovert sensors of the ISTJ personality types. You may agree with me, you may not agree with me, but in any event, I presented you with the formula. I retested the formula of these people, and it seems that they eventually show these characteristics, and I hope that you see likewise as well. Otherwise, I would love to hear any opinions of disagreement or agreement, if there's any.
I want my future to be judged in a different way, and I wanted a different measuring stick. I wanted a different barometer. And what I thought about was my behavior and my actions was how I wanted to be judged. And I also wanted to think about the relationships and building relationships and nurturing those relationships. And when you think about being in a Major League Baseball clubhouse, the relationship with your teammates, your coaches, your managers, my relationship with Bob Manfred in the commissioner's office today, our leader of the Players Union, Tony Clark, all these things are very, very important to me. And when I came back, I wanted to make sure I was a different person with a different outlook.
5 million social media followers around the world, with a #1 sports channel on YouTube, with a #2 channel on YouTube overall. You look at our WWE network, it's available on any streaming device, has about 1.5 million steady state subscribers. It's our fastest growing business, as you said. And we're family-friendly entertainment. Kids love our programming. They come with their parents. They come with their parents. It's multi-generational. And, over 40% of our viewership is female. So we're one of the most diverse, both age-wise and gender-wise, products in the world.
Then so many guys been coming in, we've been building up the forces, that they started filling in the rest of the numbers. And to go from one of the other SEAL teams to 6, you basically have to go through another boot camp, try out, and go there.
Did you want to be in SEAL Team 6?
At the time, I did not. But
Right.
looking back at it, yes, I wish I would have. Right. In even Vietnam,
Right.
which you got Carlos Hathcock, who I think is the greatest sniper of all time. I have more kills, but that doesn't mean I'm better than he is. I was just put in a position where I had more opportunities. But yeah, and I definitely cheated. I used ballistic computer that tells me everything to do, so I'm just a monkey on a gun.
Okay, well,
You know, I had a chance to win at Tampa. You know, that was, I missed the cut at LA, and I added Tampa because I thought my body could handle a couple more rounds, get ready for the Masters, and lo and behold, I finished one shot back of a playoff and finished second. So early part of my process of trying to come back and compete again, you know, I found out that, you know, I could play at this elite level. I could do it again. And, you know, lo and behold, I had the lead at the back nine of the Open Championship.
Anytime anyone would challenge him, he'd call me in to wrestle for him. I have no idea, man.
So I guess you were like his
and that's
bodyguard.
I carried his bags, for God's sake. The way I made any team was that I was willing to fight anybody at the time just to make it.
In New York or in the Virginia, DC area, and I just felt I needed to react, I needed to do something. I joined the Army, and again, the whole purpose of me doing that was to react and feel that I could provide some sort of security, make some sort of a stance against terrorism. And it turned out to be the best decision I ever made. And I'm very grateful every day that I was able to return to be able to share not only my story, but those that I served alongside. When I first got there, I had no idea what to expect. A lot of people talk about, you know, how do you prepare to go to war and the training? Did you have the right training for this? And everyone discusses, you know, well, how do you fight the war on terror? And specifically with a female, a lot of people ask me, you know, so, I mean, you weren't near the front line.
It doesn't happen overnight. I think it goes by step. I mean, first of all, it's how we prepare ourselves. I mean, I think all great athletes, I mean, they prepare themselves really well for their games. They know what they have to do, you know, before the game, what they're going to do on the ice, actually. And to be honest with you, I mean, it's
just a peaceful place where I don't have to, no offense, I don't have to do an interview or I don't have to talk to anybody. You know, but it's like it's kind of like my time where I get to zone out, and I think it's for me it'll always be a peaceful place, and a place where I love being. So when I have the chance, I try to get in as much as I can. That was brutal. You know, for me, at a very young age, I learned how important sleep was. That was something, you know, it's where you can naturally grow and your body recovers. And so, you know, that was something that I had a lot of as a kid. You know, I was constantly sleeping, but I was also constantly running around. So my body needed it. I needed to rest. I needed to recover. I needed to make sure that I was ready for whatever I had the next day, whether that was 2 workouts or 1 workout. I mean, I was swimming 7 days a week, going between 70 and 100,000 yards a week. So
I think everyone's doing the best they can to control that. You know, with concussions and things like that, that's the biggest, the obvious one. But when you get guys this good, this fast, that big, it's, you know, unfortunately, that's kind of part of it. But
well, it's like night and day. I represent a border district. I chair the Border Security Subcommittee, and I'm leading, working with President Trump to make sure we build the wall, secure the border, close these crazy loopholes that are being taken advantage of every single day, end chain migration, the visa lottery, and, you know, move forward in a way that is protecting Americans. My opponent was actually an activist helping people cross illegally in her past, and even though she's had amazing political makeover trying to fool the voters here, she's voted to support sanctuary cities. And a really important vote here that's meaningful in Arizona is she voted.
You know, I just had to set myself up the best way I could. I know Gary, he always wanted to win this game, and, you know, it came down to it. I didn't want to count on him. I knew I had a better chance with him than Lala, but, you know, really I kind of took my chances with Jill winning that first endurance, and when that didn't work out, you know, I guess I kind of lost the game to a 50-50. So it's a tough one to swallow, but, you know, as I said, can't look back and have regrets, and I think I played the best way I could. To tell you the truth, I didn't know a whole lot about the Big Brother game, you know, but you learn a lot real quick, and especially when you're on the block the first week, and, you know, that's just kind of my natural instincts. As I say, you know, I aligned with the right people at the right times and knew when to cut my losses and back away. So, you know, as I say, I thought I had this one in the bag, and I played the best game I possibly could. But, you know, it all came down to that 50-50, and it's a tough one. You know, you look back and you can say,
our opportunities have been unique, just always being able to do everything together, and it's always been our dream to do it together. So if it was only one of us, then that would be weird for us.
I think I'd have some proud parents there. The score, the
Coach Peter Elander worked tirelessly on different drills, and that was one of the unique names he came up with. And so it was "Oops, I did it again" in reverse. That's just what he called it. He's Swedish, so it's just more funny even coming in a Swedish accent.
Oh yeah, of course.
She's
absolutely.
failed at it thousands of times, and I don't think she's ever done it more perfectly than on that goal.
It was the.
I want to go stop his shot too.
What really? Stop his shot?
Mentally.
You challenging him?
Yeah.
Does he play? Does he play? I didn't know he played hockey.
No, he plays hockey.
Of course, he's Canadian,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you have to. You have to, but so he
program a long time, and just we're seeing things that we thought, you know, it was time to make a change. I mean, everyone said it. It's 2018, and we took a stand to make sure that women in our program were receiving the treatment that we felt was fair, and we would help kind of pave the way for that next generation of young girls as well.
so cool. And look.